You're taking care of business with Marty and Clay on Bakersfield's right choice for Saturday Talk. Kern Radio Newstalk 1180.
We are back on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180 with our guests Michael Bowers, Damon Smothers, and Keith Wolaridge. Hey, I'm dating myself a little bit with that song selection, but that was a song from your and my era there. Reach Out, I'll Be There by the Four Tops.
I don't remember
Don't
that
give
one.
me that look, Clay. It ain't going to fly. You had a comment to make, Clay?
Yeah, I appreciate these gentlemen being here today, but these aren't the issues that I really want to talk about. I want to get into unions, police, respect for police, education. I want to get into some of the hard things. We're not going to get into it today, so I want to invite them all back again to talk about some of the really what I believe to be the hard today value issues.
Okay, well, I have one request, though, Clay. Stay awake the first 45 minutes, okay? Don't just, okay. Take the pill before the show. Damon, you were going to talk a little bit about solutions.
Right, and I think that most times we go into the past, and I want to talk more about the issues that surround us. And Michael, I know you have some interesting issues about how to make some solutions for our problems.
Well, looking at it, you look and you see generation after generation after generation on welfare receiving these subsidies. You look at the package that some of these families are essentially receiving, $4,000 package from Medicare to food stamps. It's a generation. It's a level of dependency. And the way to break that cycle is that African Americans have to come to a point in the realization that it's time to move from black history to black future. And how you do that is, number one, through education. The only way you're going to be competitive is through education, not receiving subsidies, but through education. And I think that once we, next show, we start tackling the education component and looking at respect for police officers and respect for community, we've lost the respect for the community. We got to the point where it's okay to watch a killing in front of us and not say anything to the police or not get involved and turn our eye. Before, we used to be engaged and involved in the community, and I think we have to get back to those fundamental principles, and I think we'll start seeing a change.
It's funny. I've got a centennial book that I was going to show you guys, Black Centennial book, excellent book. A lot of comments from a lot of famous black people over history. The one theme you keep on hearing consistently is education, education.
My father used to tell me education was my license to compete. That is our license to compete. I call it E squared. I go education and entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. That having your own company, being your own boss, gives one the economic freedom in this country, coupled with education. That is the formula for success in the African American community. And as I look at my good friend Mr. Smothers here, and we talked about solutions on how we can help, the first thing we can do on a specific level is get behind his charter school. Amen. If we can't get vouchers in this community, which will help African American kids, let's do charter schools. This man is sacrificing 24 hours a day to ensure not just African American children, but all children in Kern County learn. And as conservative as this community is, there should be no reason why he should be running into these roadblocks. Yeah. That is what we can do today.
I totally agree.
Yeah, but you saw the same roadblocks when they tried to get the charter school out in Arvin. Mm-hmm. They went through the same similar roadblocks.
And as a school board member, this is probably getting me in trouble with some of my fellow members. I understand why Ms. Grimm had that issue. It's about economics, unfortunately. It's a money grab. But if we care about children, who cares where the money goes? Mm-hmm. Because as an educated community goes, so goes a vibrant community. Our community is one that's been depressed because of unemployment and things of that nature. But educated people they learn, they start jobs, they create businesses, employment grows. That's the basis and the fundamentals. We have to have an educated community.
Clay.
And that's been the biggest problem in Kern County. Our educational base just hasn't kept pace. And it's going to take another 5 to 10 years, and Cal State keeps expanding and doing a better job. But we need more education. Michael.
Absolutely. I'm sitting here, I have the honor, Damon went to one of the top schools in the nation, the Harvard of the South, Tulane, and went on to do great things. And you have Keith Wolaridge, a master's degree in banking. I'm inspired by that as a young man. I look at that. My heroes are not athletes. My heroes are not Michael Jordan. I aspire to be one of the, as the movie says, one of the great debaters. I aspire to be, this intellectual piece that can communicate and can articulate. And so I think what we have done is that we've replaced the real heroes with football players and basketball players, but the real heroes are people like Damon and Keith that are in the room who went through the arduous process of getting their education.
I totally agree. And the thing is, unfortunately, as a community, as Bakersfield, if we're not careful and we don't support people like Damon, we're going to end up losing them. Mm-hmm. And they're going to go someplace else where the money is because they have no choice. You've got a family. You've got to support your family. You've got,
I have to eat.
You've got to eat, and you've paid your dues.
We have to support our entrepreneurs in the room too.
Okay.
That real selfish plug.
Hey, Keith, I got to tell you, Clay and we are obviously entrepreneurs, and I'm down to working half days now.
Right.
I get to pick any 12 hours I want.
I love it.
So,
and I think that people. I think here, and my frustration, and Marty, you've heard my frustration. Everybody in here has heard that, I'm going to go where I want it.
You have to.
I'm not going to spend, I'm 41, just turned 41. I'm not going to spend another 5 years fighting for something. If the people don't want it, I'll go where it's wanted and where it's needed.
You have no choice.
Because I absolutely know how to fix this. I'm not concerned. I've told people I'm not concerned about, actually running it. I'm concerned about opening it. Once we open the doors, our children will fly. We will see 100% of these kids going to four-year institutions. We'll see that. I'm not afraid of that. It's been done. It can be done. And it's just unfortunate that we don't have the push from the top. But again, like Mr. Wolaridge said, it's a money grab. And if we effectively take $1.3 million out of somebody's budget for the first year, that's going to cause some problems for some folks.
A selfish plug, if you get them through high school, I'll get them through college.
I love it. Okay? I love it.
Michael?
And on that note, I look at the people like Shannon Grove, David Valadeo, and I look at other city officials, Kevin McCarthy, and they have been warm and welcoming here in this town to Brick, and they've been a friend to Brick, and they've been a friend to the academy, to the charter school. They've opened their arms and took the initiative to write Damon letters of support. And, Keith can attest to this. We were at the Martin Luther King breakfast, and after, Shannon Grove didn't even have a chance to even come inside because she was out in the community cleaning up in one of the most financially disadvantaged parts of town. And I see that, and those examples just resonate. And I think that those steps right there are going to change.
It's interesting you asked me what we can do to change. The example Shannon Grove set by being out there amongst the people. She's an assemblywoman, getting her hands dirty. If more people of color were to see the Shannon Groves and the Karen Goes out there saying that these people are just not up there making laws, but they're right here with us, that would resound so clearly and distinctly. It would bells would go off in the minds of the people saying, you know what, they do care. So I applaud Miss Grove. I applaud Miss Go for their efforts of meeting the people. Like, they were the first I've ever seen, and I'm putting the challenge out there to our supervisors and my good friend Kevin. If you're listening, the people need to see you. We like you. We love you. They just need to see you.
Okay, but Keith, let me make a comment. That's great, and I know Shannon, and Shannon does a fantastic job, and so does Kevin and all of our other political people in Kern County. But what do we specifically need to make the problem go away or better, other than people like the Kevin McCarthys and the Shannon Groves?
You know what we're doing right now? Mm-hmm. Having that discussion?
You bet.
We have, and my good friend Damon always says, Keith, are you willing to have the uncomfortable conversation? Mm-hmm. If you're not, don't get in this business. Mm-hmm. And until it takes courage, Marty, and as much as this man Clay to my right, it takes courage to do what you're doing. Mm-hmm. to have this discussion. Mm-hmm. That is the building blocks, that is the basis, that is the foundation of what it takes for us to get better as a country, is having these hard discussions, having these hard dialogues that may, get people a little edgy, but it gets us to having the dialogue that you hear from, I'm coming from, I hear where you're coming from, and together we uplift and as we climb.
One statement my mother said, she said forced integration was the worst thing that ever happened to black people.
I agree with that.
She was a teacher for 35 years in New Orleans.
Watching it in Los Angeles, I agree with that. I mean, I've seen some horror stories that would just, and as we all have, that make your hair curl. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keith, Damon, Michael, thank you so much for being here. We definitely want to do this again with you guys.
Thank you.
We really just scratched the surface. So
thank you for
we
having
want you
us,
to come
man.
back.
You know, we appreciate it for you listening, and hopefully we can do it again, my good friend.
Definitely. We will see you in 167 hours on Taking Care of Business. Thanks for being with us on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180.